We're on a tight schedule, and what I'd like to do, very first of all, is have our candidates come forward. And I'm going to say a couple of things about the way this is going to go. Number one, as we have said previously, everybody has an opportunity to write a question for the candidates that you'd like to have asked. And I'm asking you to do that now so we don't have to ask for it later, and have those collected so that we'll have those at the end of the time. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a 3-minute opening introduction from each candidate. And first, the incumbent, Jay Darden, and second will be Parish President Billy Nungesser. So, start.
Thank you, sir. Well, I want to thank the Veterans Tea Party very much for organizing this event, for giving us the opportunity to be heard tonight. We don't get the opportunity to do this very often, so it's very important that every chance we get, we're able to do it. So thank you all very much for coming out tonight. Less than a year ago, you gave me the chance to be your lieutenant governor. 57% of the people in this state afforded me that honor, having been the Secretary of State for 4 years and having served for 15 years in the Senate. I wake up every day grateful for the opportunity to do that and looking forward to the opportunity to be the person who puts Louisiana's best foot forward, who represents our state to people all across the country and really all across the world, attempting to convince them that this is a place that they need to visit. And when they visit, they'll come back. And after they come back, they'll hopefully invest here. And after they invest here, they'll hopefully retire here. It's a continuum. And it starts by making certain people appreciate everything great about our state. I told you less than a year ago that I'd do more with less, and I did that. I chose not to take office for 10 days after I was eligible to do so, so you wouldn't have to spend $6 million to have a special election. I told you the day I got inaugurated that we would not have a secretary of the Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism, the highest paid position in our department, $130,000 positions. You elected me to do that job. By law, I'm the commissioner of that department, and I'm doing that job without paying somebody $130,000 to do so. We immediately came in and eliminated some positions. We don't have a director of fitness anymore in our department. We don't have a director of social entrepreneurship anymore in our department. I told the people I hired they were going to have to do more with less and double up and get more accomplished, and that's what we've done. Our department has seen 67 positions reduced over the course of the past year, in addition to the reductions that we started at the top. That's how you lead, you start at the top. I told you that I felt it was important to link North and South Louisiana. I've spent a lot of time in every nook and cranny of this state talking about the importance of all of us being great ambassadors for Louisiana. And I said we needed a new brand for Louisiana. We needed a new identity. Less than 60 days after taking office, we introduced that new brand. Louisiana, pick your passion, because we're a passionate people. We're passionate about our food and our music and our culture and our recreational opportunities. And we need to share that with the rest of the world. And we need the right person to be the one who shares that with the rest of the world. This department is responsible for promoting all things great about Louisiana. Our parks, our museums, the arts and cultural life of Louisiana, the state library, and most importantly, our tourism effort. Tourism jobs are up 5% since I took office. 10,000 more people working in the private sector, not the public sector, in Louisiana because of the way we've managed the department, because of the way we promoted Louisiana, used our resources to make sure that everyone understands what a great place Louisiana is. That's the way you do things when you know how to manage government. I spent 4 years as your Secretary of State combating election fraud, making sure that only registered voters were eligible to vote, opening up early voting opportunities. You can vote starting this Saturday and continuing through next Saturday in every parish in this state. And avoid the rush on Election Day when LSU will be playing Auburn probably in the middle of the day. We set about to consolidate our museums under the Secretary of State, gave them an identity, the Heroes and Heritage Trail, so we can support all things great that those museums all across Louisiana celebrate.
Mr. Darden, I'm sorry to interrupt. I should have said this in the beginning. This is our atomic clock watcher over here, Colleen. She's in the red. And so the time's up.
Oh, sorry. Well, I didn't see you hold up
I
anything.
apologize. And
Thank
so
you.
what I'd ask you to do, Colleen, if you would, is when there's 1 minute left, raise your hand. And then when the time is up, raise your hand again.
And then scream.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to be back here before the Tea Party. For many of you that don't know me, I'll tell you a little bit about me. I'm Billy Nungesser, and I was elected to parish president a year after Katrina. A lot of people ask me, why would you want to be parish president? after a hurricane devastated Japan. We needed we needed someone to step up to the plate that was going to work 20. That thing, hello? Okay, don't stop my time now. We needed someone that was going to step up to the plate and work 24/7 to bring that parish back. I was reelected with 71% of the vote, and that was a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication to creating jobs, building the infrastructure, and getting the federal funds to rebuild our parish. The hurricanes and the oil spill devastated coastal Louisiana. Am I speaking too close to it? Sorry, I'm overloading it. How about now? Is that better?
That's good, yeah.
So we need someone that's going to give 24/7 to this job. Tourism is a big business, but it's not all we have. We need to do more. In the lieutenant, if Lieutenant Governor's office was just going to do tourism, I'd be for abolishing it. There's so much more you can do if you step up every day to create jobs, coastal erosion, and work as a team in Baton Rouge with the governor and the other people that are elected statewide to create jobs. And that's what I'll do every day as Lieutenant Governor.
Fantastic. Okay, so next we're going to begin the formal question-answer debate period. And here's the way it's going to work. I will state the question only once to save time. However, if the second responder, and you'll both respond in turn. If you need to have it repeated for the second person, let me know. Otherwise, we're just going to keep going. Okay? You guys with me? All right? After that, each candidate will have a rebuttal of 1 minute at the end. Again, taking turns to answer to the other candidate. Okay? Is everybody clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Here we go. The first question is, and excuse me, I'm going to say the incumbents first, of course. I'll take everyone. How do you feel qualified in your experience, training, and education to be the Lieutenant Governor?
Well, I'll start with my undergraduate degree, which was in advertising, and so that certainly trains me well for the job that we do to promote Louisiana, because that's our biggest responsibility is tourism. It's the largest part of our budget as well as it should be. I served for 15 years in the state senate. I served for about 3 years on the East Baton Rouge Parish Metropolitan Council. When I was on the council, I authored an award-winning architect and engineer selection process. In fact, I spoke to the state architects in Shreveport today and reflected on the fact that that has stood the test of time and taken politics out of selecting contracts for people. I created a flood damage prevention ordinance when I was on the council, and I went to the Senate and served for 15 years. I was chairman of the Senate Finance Committee. I was chairman of the Ethics Committee in the Senate. I was a National Republican Legislator of the Year in 2003. I understand state government, working as a legislator and working with the budget. I've spent 4 years as the Secretary of State, as I mentioned earlier, managing a budget that is significant, almost as much as the one in the Lieutenant Governor's office, proving there that we could do more with less. And I've now had 10 months on the job as Lieutenant Governor, understanding the needs of this department, restructuring that department, doing away with the silos that previously existed, where museums didn't worry about what state parks did, and state parks didn't worry about what tourism had to say. All 5 of our entities now are working under one boss, me, and they're working together and lifting each other up. Everything that we do to promote each of these entities is going to help the entire department lift Louisiana. We're in the business of lifting Louisiana. Our museums, our state parks, the wonderful arts and cultural life of Louisiana, the state library that provides internet access to every public library in our state. Less than 50% of us don't have internet access at home in Louisiana. They're dependent upon the state library to make that happen, and we make it happen, doing more with less. And as we've talked about, and we ought to continue to talk about, because that's the issue in the race, who is going to be best to promote Louisiana? Who can articulate all things great about our state and do it best? And I would hope you would agree after 10 months the answer is me.
Good job.
We need to change. We need people from around the state to get together as a team and make the decisions of where tourism dollars spent. If you elect me a Lieutenant Governor, I don't have all the great ideas, but we have people around the state that have a passion for the tourism industry. We need to bring them together as a team. In my parish alone, I have billboards that say eat Louisiana seafood. We don't need to be told in South Louisiana to eat Louisiana seafood. That's a misconception. That's a waste of tax dollars. We need to get everyone from every corner of this parish, this state together to work as a team and decide how to best spend our money. And that's what I'm going to do as Lieutenant Governor.
Fantastic. Okay, so 1 minute for a rebuttal. Let's go.
Well, let me tell you about working with the team. The tourism industry is now working as a team. The industry is collectively behind me. The PACs that represent the Louisiana Travel Promotion Association, the New Orleans Hospitality Association, recognize the job that I've done to galvanize the tourism industry, to move Louisiana in the right direction, invest BP money wisely, promote the state consistently across the board for all things great in Louisiana. That billboard that you keep talking about was paid for by the Seafood Promotion and Marketing Board. It wasn't anything I had to do with. That was part of the money that the Seafood Board gets to promote Louisiana. So if you're concerned about that billboard, you ought to take it up with the Seafood Promotion and Marketing Board. They make decisions on how they're going to market seafood in Louisiana and across the country. And they're doing a good job, incidentally. We're working closely together, but I don't control their decision making.
So I guess one minute.
I believe you sit on that board, don't you?
No.
Well, you do control it.
I
And
just control it.
just like the tourism industry and all the PACs that have endorsed you. But we do need to take a better look at the way we're spending our money. And the jobs that you've continued to say you've cut were actually cut by Scott Angel. And the BP money should not be spent around the state. The BP money was to build back the coast, and the political football of spending a check in every part of the state, when we're in Washington trying to get the majority of the funds from BP to rebuild the Gulf Coast, is unacceptable, and that's what's been done. It's been used politically.
Fantastic. I almost didn't ask this question, but I kind of like it. So you guys are going to have to tell me what you like about it. All right, this one is going to force you to look at your candidate and acknowledge his strengths. What qualities does your opponent possess that you admire or that you don't have, and what can you do to overcome that and still convince us that you are the right candidate for the job? Okay, now, let's see. I'm sorry, help me out. I think this one. Let me ask you your first one. This one, right?
Sure. Well, Jay is a very good public speaker, and he's had a lot of practice at it. And, insanity is something doing over and expecting different results. We need new blood in Baton Rouge, career politicians, which Jay is very good at. So I'll give him credit. He's done a great job at public speaking, at putting all the right words in the right place. But we need change in Baton Rouge, and that's why I'm running.
Billy has done an excellent job of advocating on behalf of the people of Plaquemines Parish at a time when they were in need. And I hope he stays there in that position.
I see your face now. All right, so this one, I guess, one to everybody.
But we'll know on October 22nd whether I stay there or not. The people will decide.
One more minute.
Yes, they will.
Great. All right, now let's move on to maybe some lesser understood parts of what your job is and will be. Tell us a little bit about the role of the Louisiana Retirement Commission. And there's a whole bunch of things revolving around the Louisiana Retirement Commission that's been in the newspaper. Now, what is your role as the Lieutenant Governor related to that? What do you have to say about it, and what needs to be changed?
There's been a lot in the paper about the Louisiana retirement systems, not the Louisiana Retirement Commission. The retirement systems are completely different. That's the money that people invest in and ultimately retire and they get paid for by the state. We have nothing to do with that. The Louisiana Retirement Commission, which is under the Lieutenant Governor's office, is charged with the responsibility of making certain we convince people this is a great place to spend their senior years after they've completed working but don't want to just put up their feet and do nothing. We are restructuring what's taking place in the retirement system as I speak. We have not done the kind of job that we need to do. The greatest resource we have to convince people to retire in Louisiana, in my view, centers around the rich military legacy that we have in Louisiana. From Fort Polk to Barksdale to the greater New Orleans area. We've never gone after that market of soldiers and sailors and Coast Guardsmen, Air Force pilots who've had experience in Louisiana because of their training, married a Louisiana girl perhaps, appreciated Louisiana hunting and fishing. We want them to come home and settle in Louisiana. We're recrafting our retirement effort to make that happen. We've also consolidated the management of the Audubon Golf Trail, which is a very underutilized and under-advertised component of what we have in Louisiana. The person who I put in charge of retirement is also in charge of the Audubon Golf Trail. We chose not to hire a separate person to do that because golfing is a big part of retirement, I'm told, as well. And we want to make certain that people can appreciate that